This conference will now be recorded.
Awesome. So, all right, how's everybody doing? I had a post-it note up here.
Good.
Jason got a new picture there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon mine are going to look like that. I can't wait. All right. Well, I guess we'll get going. My big plan this week is just, I guess, have everybody ask questions and I'll answer them, just like usual.
New plan, new plan.
New plan. John, I still have your note up here about the head, and I got some 4-inch ones in, but I didn't see any of the 63 version of the 2-inch head, which is what I was looking for. So I'm still working on that for you. Sorry about the delay.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
it's on my list still.
I wanted to ask people about cutting into stone. The lasers, somebody said it works okay in marble because marble's soft. I don't know. Can you cut into stone with a laser?
You can. You can get depth, depending on what it is. Some does better than others, but I've seen actually some people get some pretty good depth out of it. Um, I haven't tried it. I mean, I had some stuff that was synthetic. It was like cultured marble almost, and I ran some of that stuff and got a pretty good depth in it. That was a test for someone else, but I haven't ever tried to get any in like slate or granite or ceramics or try to go real deep in those. Other than some floor tiles, I tried once. I got some pretty good depth in those, then paint filled them. So somebody
Anybody
else might
else?
have been playing with that. Yeah.
Anybody else try cutting marble or granite or any other stone? You only have on countertops.
Next week. I've not cut any. I've done some engraving on
Engraving is what I'm
some.
talking about. Sorry,
Yes,
Jeff.
I've done some slate. I've done like a river stone, like just a large rock that someone picked up in a riverbed that was by where they got married at. So it was she picked it up and took it to her to the house, and it's sitting in their garden. And I engraved their little anniversary message on it for him, and it's one of those things. It's the issue I found with it was the lack of consistency in the material. Right? So it wasn't flat; it was porous. So as I'm engraving one part, it looks great, and another part is not very pronounced. And then if you had the power up too high, it started popping and flaking out, almost like concrete would break as it gets
Mhm.
heated up. So what I found is to get any depth that was consistent, I just put the power on very low and just kept running multiple passes. And then if I had a section of the design due to it not being flat where it wasn't optimal focus, I just go in and cut the selected graphics was selected, select the part that I want, and just run a couple more passes on it and just kind of manually, darken the areas I wanted to, or make them deeper. And it turned out real good, but it wasn't set it and forget it. It was a lot more operator intervention.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I got a friend that owns a granite company, or he does countertops. He's got all kinds of scrap pieces I can have for free. So I was just kind of curious what you could do with them. That's all.
Yep, you can definitely engrave in them, and if you're getting good like finished pieces, like if they cut out for a sink and it was a finished countertop already, you can get some real nice engraving.
Okay.
Some people do like some of the dark black granite tiles that do some photos and stuff on them that actually look pretty good, and a lot more artwork rather than just like vector lines and such.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Jeremy.
Cool. Jim, you been playing with your camera at all?
No, I actually got sidetracked.
All right. Yeah.
I had a lady showed up just as soon as we got off of there. She was pulling in.
Gotcha. Yeah, we did a tweak on his camera, and he was going to try it out, but he got sidetracked. I was going to see if he got a chance to put it through the paces yet.
No, I did try running some. I didn't run anything, but I was just putting dots on there
Hmm.
and moving to it, and it is so much closer.
Yeah,
But it
and
helps
that's
when
with the
it's the right
120
camera
camera on
driver.
there. Yeah, yeah,
Basically,
the
give you the
lens.
backstory. What it was is I've got a 35. We thought it was a 95 camera or an 85. Ended up figuring out it was a 120.
Yeah, so we
So
put the
that makes a
120 lens
huge.
cal in, and that corrected the distortions so that everything was back the way it ought to be. So
Basically, if your camera, if you're on a 35 and your camera shows the entire laser, including the outside case, you have a 120.
yeah,
Is there any other way you can tell? I just got a new camera from him. I didn't get my laser yet, but I got a camera.
When you put your camera on it, I have mine mounted closer in the lower glass, close to the handle, but it literally shows curved to the outsides of the full dimensions of the laser, not just the inside. You can actually see the white parts of the laser curl out to the edges. Which where
yeah.
Brian's is at an 85 or 95, he's only showing his bed.
What are they shipping now, Brian? They shipping the 120s?
The 120s and the 85s.
85s. Do you think mine might be just a screw up?
Yeah, because see, all four cameras look a little different. The 85, the 95, the 110, and the 120. The actual camera housing is the same, the module and the electronics, but the lens mount and the lens itself are different on all four, and they're sometimes hard to distinguish. And we were going to get some paint pens and put dots on them so that we can identify them from here on out, since they are so similar. So
There you go. I guess you can't tell. Not good enough.
yeah, well, I can't tell by looking. That's the thing, and I've been sending pictures of cameras to Lightburn, going, which one is this? You know, so I figured out that we're just going to mark them with some dots, and I've got an article started, even though we haven't implemented it yet. But we're just going to put a series of dots on them, kind of like this. Oops, wrong screen. Hang on
Yeah, that
here.
was weird.
If only you had some way to like custom mark it, like some sort of machine that might mark something. Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I even said, hey, I asked Lightburn if they'd put the dots on there, and then they were like, why do you need dots? You can tell them apart by the lenses, but we've keep
So
getting
wait a
more and
minute.
more calls not being able to identify them. So
The lens on I'm guessing the lower one's the 120, the red dot.
the red dot's a
What's a
95,
95?
and the blue dot's an 85, and that is a 120.
My lens don't look that big
Yeah,
on
the
the end.
more your lens bulges out, I think it's the more.
Well, that's not exactly true. This red one right here is actually only 10 more degrees, but look how much more fish-eyed that one looks. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the problem. Is some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, some of them the lens goes all the way out to the out. So
Oh yeah, the
when
lenses are completely different on
yeah, but
shape of
you
them and
know,
everything.
so it's what we were going to start on the batches coming out now is we're going to mark the lens barrel as well as the module, even though the module's the same because the mount is different depending on
Yeah.
which one you get. The threads are different, so
Yeah,
we're going to start marking them like that.
I swear my 120, the one we thought was a 120. Of course, it could just be the pictures, but looking at it, and looking at your picture there, the lens doesn't look like that.
Well, that might be a 160. I
Oh,
might
okay.
have that wrong. I threw this together a couple days ago. Just I haven't actually even published it yet, so this stuff may not be
Because
100% accurate. This is
typically,
more,
the more curved it is, the more angle it has.
yeah.
But
So, but like I said, this is proof of concept just to get what we're going to do down pat. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to mark them with paint dots. So we'll be able to tell them
And
apart.
John, when you go to mount yours, too, what I found out, it's easier to go into if without using Lightburn. If you just go into or like if you're on a laptop, go into your camera, um, like underneath Windows, and you go to the camera, have it activate the Thundercam, and you get a better, bigger screen to it. So that way, when you go to focus it with the little focus ring that's on there, you can make sure it's as clear as possible without trying to use the little Lightburn square in the top right corner.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Yeah.
Joe. When I get to that point, I might talk to you a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing is there's a webcam test, webcamtests.com. And this is good because I've been able to diagnose cabling issues, noise in the cabling issues. And let me just pull one up. Let's see. I gave it permission. I should have more cameras than that. Oh, there it goes. It's detecting. There we go. There's a Win 4K. And it'll actually go through and check your frame rate and your resolution. And what in the world is that? Oh, wait.
Upside
I
down and
think that's the
backwards.
wrong one.
It's a good thing it wasn't
Uh,
your private camera.
oh, I don't, those aren't on the network.
More than we wanted to
Oh,
know on
damn.
that one, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, this one will show, and I've been able to
Sorry.
see where when we've had issues that you're not having the full resolution, and things like that. And this will show you all of that stuff in real time. Let me try the Lightburn camera.
Won't Grant know what he sent me if I ask him? Or don't really know?
Well, it should be. Oh, I've got it. Oh, I've got it open in Lightburn, I guess. I do. Let me turn that off. Anyway, but yeah, what he said, so you can get a bigger view, is definitely a good idea. And the built-in Windows app, you can get it full screen. This one you can't, but this will show you how, all your frame rates and all that. So, uh, yeah, we've actually mixed up a few cameras putting the kits together because of that. So should we be able to identify your camera by what we sent you? Yeah, but one might have slipped through. We might have had a box of 50, 120 degree cameras, and I might have accidentally had a 110 lens on one of them. And that could have happened at the factory. So there's a lot of things that can go on. So that's why we're going to start marking them, and then dots calibrating the lens distortions to your specific lens, because things like adjusting the focus can affect it. Because if there's a distortion, say up in one corner, if you adjust your focus a little, you've rotated it around and it's in a different spot now. So that may affect the outcome of your dots pattern when you're doing your full lens calibration. But we've found that once we get our settings, our presets dialed in, even though they're not in Lightburn yet for our cameras, those files that we have seem to be working pretty good with the values that we have out there.
Yeah, as soon as
Yeah,
we loaded the one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I asked Grant because in the picture, where it shows the camera, it shows there's a CD that comes with it or whatever. He
That's a
said,
sticker.
huh?
That's a round sticker they used to make the box stay
Oh,
together.
okay.
That's not a CD. There's
Nothing
no
there.
drivers required on these.
No. Okay, thanks. That was my question.
I can't
We need to
remember. What do you
update
have?
that photo.
What laser do you have, John?
No, the 35, I'm getting it. It hadn't in here yet. I got to wait till tomorrow after they come off vacation and see what the latest is.
I'll tell you what I did on mine is I put a plumb bob on mine to get the dead center, and basically it's not in the center truss of the lid, but I use the bracket closest to the handle, and that put the camera dead center in the middle of the laser, just to save you the headache of trying to figure out where dead center's at.
Okay.
Our first prototype mount used the two screws that were there to hold the lid in, or the glass, that center glass retention plate on the Nova 35. It took the place of that. It was a camera that was a mount that was designed to also hold the glass and use those two factory screw holes. Um,
So the
and that was
handle's
pretty
not,
neat too.
so the handle's
Hmm?
not necessarily in the center. Listen to your
Yeah, the
plumb
handle
bob.
should be in the center. The handle should be
Yeah,
pretty center. But he's talking about centrally overhead
front.
so
Yeah,
that you're
front to
still
back.
below the bed.
Okay.
But to be real honest with you, you could mount it way off and it would still pick it up as long as it can see the entire bed. It doesn't really matter. It's better if it doesn't have to look at it at an angle and have that perspective to try to overcome. So his idea is right, to be dead center of the bed in both directions.
And
But
Plumb
you
bob.
don't have to be that precise if you don't want to be.
it's
So
sort of the reason why too. I
you
was
don't really
glad
want
that
to
it
pick
was
up by
there.
the handle. Then you want to put it in the center of the glass.
It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't matter as long as you can see the bed.
Basically, the reason why I did mine too, where I put it at, because when it's closed, I can see the entire bed.
Yeah.
To give you
So
Yeah,
guys
that
an
way,
that's in that.
idea, Yeah, to give you guys an idea of how of an extreme angle, on my Boss laser, I actually have my camera mounted to the back wall of the laser shooting towards the front. And it picks up the whole bed, and I can still do all my alignment and everything properly that way.
Probably looks a little crazy though.
Actually, well, when I used the dot pattern, it fixed all the distortion on it. So,
Did it?
yep.
Okay,
Interesting.
cool. Yeah, you can put the camera in upside down, sideways. It doesn't matter if it can see the entire bed. When you go to do that calibration, the four dot, the four crosshairs, what order you do them in determines the positioning. So if your camera's mounted backwards, when you do the 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll still understand what that is and correct for it. So it's pretty crazy that a $120 piece of software has that kind of machine vision built in it. I think that's pretty incredible, actually.
Out to another one, John. I'll give you I also found out too, if you where it has the auto lighted or the auto adjustments on your brightness and stuff, shut your auto adjustment and your brightness off and back them down each one tab, because the 35 almost whitewashes it out and it adds a little bit more contrast to it, so you get better definition on your bed.
Where are you getting this now in the Lightburn
In
program?
Lightburn, yeah, it's in Lightburn. When you have your camera on, it's in the top right hand corner. It's got adjustments for, what was it? One contrast, one's brightness, auto adjust. I shut the autos off and back each one down a notch. It helped drastically.
Okay, thanks.
Trying to see if I can get it to pull up here. When there's a camera active, there'll be sliders and there'll be an auto brightness and auto exposure right up here above these buttons, or right around in this area in the camera control menu or
Okay.
window. And you can turn the automatic off and adjust the brightness and contrast yourself, to affect a better outcome if you need to.
And just hit save settings after you do it so it doesn't jump back again.
Okay.
Yeah. Oops, I better fix that. I've been playing with my shift.
That's what you did to
Oh, I
me
hope.
earlier.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of cameras,
Mhm.
my Lightburn software recognizes my camera, but I can't see any video.
Do you have any? Did you get the Thundercam? Does it have the adapter where it goes through the where the switch, the UDisc port, and all that, or did you? Are you running straight to the computer from it, or are you using the kit that was included?
Both.
Um, so is the lens cap off? Some of them come with a lens cap.
Yeah, lens caps off.
The first
Do
thing.
you have more than one instance of Lightburn open by chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
One
I
instant.
found where
Nah.
opening it, you can only map the camera through to one of them. So if you're working two files separately, one cut and then one on design, the camera will only work on one of them.
The first thing would be to eliminate any of those extension cables that may be going through and plug the camera directly into the computer. And you've tried that as well, and still
Yes, sir.
no. Okay. If you want, you could email support at Thunder Laser USA, and we could do a quick remote session with you and jump in there and have a look. And then if we find out it's a fault with the camera or something, of course, we'll get you another one on the way as quick as we can.
The other thing is to make sure you don't have any other instances of cameras running.
Make sure.
That
Well,
because
that's
the USB cameras, you might have to actually go in and disable them in your device settings. Because if you have
Yeah,
like a
because
built-in camera to your laptop or something, if you're using a laptop, one might be trying to override the other. Windows is sort of done
Google,
with that.
Video camera built into the laptop might be trying to fight the
yeah,
software.
Yeah.
Google usually tries to use a camera because if I have mine turned off of any other software, I get a little notification saying Google's trying to access your camera. Do you want to give it permission? So that could be too, where Google has control of your camera, and it's preventing you from opening it up in the Lightburn.
And another way similar to that you can rule out whether the camera is a problem or not is try to access it using something other than Lightburn. So access it using your webcam feature in Windows or one of the online tools like Brian was showing for the webcam. And if you can get the video there, the camera's good. You just need to figure out the permissions to the software.
Yeah, tonight I'm going to use that webcam test that you're using. So that'll be my check where I put in the support ticket.
Sure. Yeah, I'll link it in the chat. Let's see.
Another simple
There
way
we
of
go.
testing is actually going into, like I said earlier, go into your Windows tab and just go straight to camera. And
I don't have a Windows tab. I'm the
you're on
Mac
Mac.
guy.
Oh, you're a Mac. Okay, then I can't. I'm lost.
Yeah, that's
Good
what
old,
everybody says.
good old Mac.
I haven't used a Mac since a G4, so I'm no a G5. Sorry, I'm way outdated.
I haven't used one since Oregon
Oh,
Trail.
no, I never touched a Windows computer until I was 38.
Yeah.
It
I
took me
actually prefer Linux boxes, but that's not very popular. I can't make my work run in Linux boxes, but I don't like Windows or Apple.
Uh, Eight,
I used to
eight
have
and a half,
Linux too. I haven't used it in
Like,
years.
eight
like
and a
a
half inch flop,
Unix.
8.5 inch floppy is the last time I used the Apple.
Yeah. I had a Mac
Windows.
Mini a couple years ago for testing. I need to get another one just to be able to test stuff like the Lightburn bridge and all that stuff because I've got everything PC in here right now. I should probably have one.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I was
Windows
doing
keeps upgrading and changing
I wound up
everything. It
getting
screws up your programs.
Hmm.
web development, I was always running Linux in Macs and PCs just because the way that the web browsers used to be so non-compliant with each other. You had to develop across so many platforms that I had to have 3 computers open just to make sure that
Yeah,
things
they
worked
didn't have an
correctly.
integrated browser solution where you could pick between Opera and Safari and all that and see what the real output is back then.
No, it sucked. It's like, why does people would ask me, why do you have so many computers set up in here? I'm like, just so I can test one website.
Yeah.
As you're building it, it was a nightmare back then.
like I wound up getting my laser back in July 10th. I just ran my first test last week because
Gotcha.
my
Oh wow.
garage didn't have electric. I didn't have a garage when I ordered the laser, so I poured concrete, built a garage. You can see I'm still
It's a really
dealing with sheet.
expensive laser.
Oh yeah, yeah. The garage is probably 3 times the cost of the laser.
And
The thing I noticed, and I did one test, right? So here's the only other thing. Let me move some stuff around so you can see easier. So I just used a scrap of wood on the camera.
okay, yeah, that material test file.
Is it him lagging out or me?
I think it's him.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
wondering the same thing.
yeah. When he's moving around, we lost audio and it was a little choppy. We still can see every other frame or something.
Good old Mac.
And there he goes.
Cell connection.
Good old iPhone.
So on the test file, where's that actually at? I mean, is somebody got to import or is it in Lightburn already?
I had laying around
I've got an article on it.
pattern. Just one of the ones that
And
I found. It went nice.
okay, hey, let
Did a
me.
quick test found online.
Gotcha.
TV,
Yeah,
I got to admit, I was pretty happy with it. I got a little bit of blowback, but I don't think much is because I think I don't have enough positive pressure in the room. There's a filter box, cut out any in the filter instead.
What?
you're cutting out real bad, so we're not like getting much of that. Oh, he muted himself, or something happened.
I think his mic dropped.
Oh, let me pull this back up. So that file he's using is this Lightburn test file, and it uses the power scale feature, and this talks about the power scale feature here. But the file's at the bottom here, and then there's also a link to some other resources that are similar to that. But you can download that file here and run it. There's some weird stuff, like for instance, it's set to cut at 10 millimeters per second and 5 millimeters per second. But we have those hard-coded rules in the Ruida controller that says anything that is 10 millimeters per second or slower in vector is going to use low power, or the minimum power setting. And since we're using a power scale to make this function properly and make 10% actually 10% and so on, our scale has to be from 0 to 100, actually 1 to 100, because it doesn't like a 0, so that you can get that full scale. If you play with the power scale, it's going to throw your entire power scale off. and make the resultant output mess up for the entire thing. So there's some caveats there. You can't really pay attention to these 2 rows. I even took them out once, and then somebody's like, how come you didn't put 5 and 10% in? So I ended up putting them back in, but they don't always output the way you want them to. You can see here, it pretty much cut them all out. It probably used 100% on all those, and that was just something that was hanging. But the rest of them look like they're representative of what should be happening because they're above that
That's
10% threshold.
weird too, because my 5 and 10, when I first got mine, it didn't cut them out.
Yeah. So it'll either use 100% power or 0 because it gets confused and it doesn't know. In this case, it used all 100. So it throws the power scale off, or the power scale feature, having minimum powers set, to achieve a power scale is what clashes with the hard coded rules. And it's not really a problem. You just know that anything 10 millimeters and under is not going to output correctly. And when you get that slow, you're going to want to just draw a circle and try it, and then lower your power a little bit and draw a circle and try it. I mean, there's going to be some dialing in. There's no easy button, but that's a good, for anything 1/8 inch all the way up to 3/8, you could probably run that, maybe, and get another one. And then let me go back because there's that other website, and I'll put a link to it too, where you can make your own files like that.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
For people like me that have gone in and adjusted our power scales through Lightburn, that's overriding those hard set numbers in the controller, correct?
No. Well, if you do it through the machine settings, if you change the min and max power for laser 1 in the machine settings, yes, that changes the actual power scale that the machine uses, the min and max. Those are usually set from the factory. The min and max power we're going to change here in the power scale features actually in Lightburn on a per layer basis.
Well, I'm not talking about the per layer one. I'm talking about in the settings of Lightburn. The one that I went into to adjust my power so I could run at 100% true power.
Yeah, I generally tell no one to ever mess with that because otherwise,
I mess with everything.
Yeah. Otherwise, when we do things like have them output a test where it does 10, 20, 30%, and they monitor the current output of the laser, if any of that's been skewed with, our data may not be right with it. We may think there's a problem when they're not, or vice versa, because it won't be calibrated to our reference anymore.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's where you set it globally in the controller. So, but using the power scale feature, that's going to be a function of Lightburn in itself. Yeah.
Okay.
So when Travis calls in, you'll say we can't support you because you've played with your settings.
Yeah, we always just hang up. We always just hang up when he calls. No.
Send a voicemail.
One tech issue, and it was my own stupidity, and I answered it myself before Brian even.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know that you've ever even put in a ticket, and he cuts metal and does all kinds of cool stuff. And so, yeah, he usually gets everything sorted on his own. So
yeah, I still got to do my hour training.
Yeah, there's a few of those still out there.
With an hour of training?
Yeah, you should. You'd probably be able to show me some stuff on the Lightburn. I don't get in there and do a lot with it, to be real honest. I know enough to be dangerous. So, and give a crash course.
Have you done any more videos, Travis?
I did one last week, and I have one coming up this next week. The one coming up next week, I'm trying to get it all done as a pre-recorded, so I can clip it all together because it's actually going to be an instructional video instead of just this is what I'm selling, how I'm selling it, how much or how much you can make, that kind of stuff. So this next one, we're going to start getting into actual like decoration type stuff.
Is that a follow-up from the one last week? Because I guess I do remember the one last week now. Because you had the slate one, and then you had the one with what was last week?
QR codes, I think it was.
That QR sign.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that the next one? You're gonna follow that up?
Yeah. So I'm gonna actually show people how to make those and stuff like that.
That was a pretty cool looking sign.
Dude, I sell the crap out of those things.
It's a very nice, high-end looking sign. It's 100% badass.
Cool. I'm making some notes real quick. We talked about
Travis.
What was that?
Is that posted on your Mad Moose or?
Yeah, it's posted on the Mad Moose, and then also on Mad Moose's YouTube, and then also cross-linked over to Global Thunder.
Okay, I'll find it then.
Awesome. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I got something really random.
All right.
Has nothing to do with this really, but I've noticed lately there's been a laser company that's been posting a lot on replies in Global Thunder. Any chance we can kick him? He's just kind of a D-bag.
I'll go through there and look. I don't moderate those things like I should. I don't go look in unless somebody kind of jabs me about it. But yeah, I'll go in there and look and see what's up.
Yeah,
Which
because
one is it in the global group?
yeah, it's in the global group. But yeah, every single time he responds, he basically says thunders are crap. You should be getting an epilogue or a universal and blah blah blah. I'm like, why are you even in this group?
Yeah, I seen
I
that one.
gotcha.
Troll.
I seen that guy.
I gotcha. Yeah.
I made it back in. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it looked like you had a little internet latency or something going on there.
Yeah, now I'm on my cell.
Gotcha.
Lost in
So
cyberspace.
yeah, we were talking about that test file that you were running.
Mhm.
And the first two rows of the cuts at the 5 and the 10% or 5 millimeter and 10 millimeter per second rather, those probably did not come out right because of a clash between using Lightburn power scale and some hard coded rules that are in the controller. So you may not see any variance between the first two rows on the 5 millimeter per second and 10 millimeter per second. They may look identical, but you should start seeing some depth changes and maybe even cut off.
Oh
What
yeah,
thickness did you say that material was?
3/4 inch thick plywood.
Oh, okay. So you're not
Oh,
gonna, yeah,
it's
none of
thicker
those are
than
gonna
white
cut
ply.
through.
You're
So
not
you
cutting
should be able
through.
to, yeah. But yeah, that's a good test, to see what kind of engraving and depending on the material thickness, how that file is set up, how the cut can possibly go. So,
I think one of the things I noticed was the machine had quite a bit of smoke inside of it, and I think that's my big my big problem is not having enough positive pressure in the room, so the machine can suck everything out.
right. Yeah, you got to move as much air in as that's going to move out. And are you using the stock air pump, the stock exhaust fan rather?
No, I wound up buying the AC Infinity.
Okay. And you got it hard lined out. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm using hardline 8-inch hardline going out, 6-inch with a 90 filter box. I taped it shut,
Okay.
upscaled into the 10-inch AC Infinity, and then I downscaled it to get to the 8. But I think from what everybody's telling me, take that,
Yeah.
mount it up there.
Yeah. You want as much of your exhaust system negatively pressured or having a vacuum as much as possible. And that way, even if you do get a leak, it's going to suck air in instead of forcefully blowing that stuff back out into the room with you. So the closest you can get it to the outside, the better you're going to be, I think.
And
But
try to
yeah,
eliminate any of your pinch lines too, where you got that sharp 90s in there and that flex.
Yeah.
Try to
And
eliminate
then,
all.
do you guys run filter boxes before you go into your fan?
some do. I don't.
I do. But I've got a really big fan that's supporting 3, soon to be 4 lasers. So
God bless you, first of all.
yeah, so the biggest thing is if you're running a filter box, I see a lot of people run the wrong kind of filters, and it really hampers the performance of those. You actually want to get the cheapest filters that you can. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but smoke particles are fairly big. And so what you want to do is I go and get, I think they come in a 4-pack from Lowe's and Home Depot. It's that green mesh stuff. We've always made fun of that stuff because you can basically drive a truck through it. But it captures a good, 98% of the smoke particles in it. And you want to swap them out often. We have to change our filters about once a week on our system.
So you're just running standard filter roll.
It's not filter roll. It's I don't even know how to do it on this. I'm on my iPad today, so I'm like completely lost on everything. But yeah, if you go to Lowe's and Home Depot, you'll see, I think they're like $6 for like a 4-pack, and it's got a green floss material in the middle, but it's a really thin floss material, and that's what we run. I tried running, some MERV 16 filters on there, and it just choked the whole system down.
Too thick.
Hey Grant, how's it
I
going,
think I'm
man?
running a MERV 5 right now.
Number 5, you should be okay.
One of the things you could test it too is leaving your doors all the way open when you run your laser, like your shop doors, to see if that changes it or not. That'll let you know if you've got a filter issue with your filter or your fan, or versus an air pressure issue.
Yeah, my door in my garage, it'll pull out of your hand and slam itself shut. There's that much airflow coming through, and I've got an S6. It's not even that big of a fan. It was worse with that green fan when I had it on there. So that's pretty crazy how that works. But
I
yeah, I think you're on the right track.
went to YouTube, look for Mad Moose, and you're not a band, so that wasn't you.
No, I'm still kind of buried on there because it's a fairly new page, so it's pretty well buried in there still.
Just M-A-D.
Just yeah, that Mad Moose Labs.
Copy and paste it into the chat window.
Let's see if I can figure that out here. Hold on.
Free plug for Moose.
I think you can put that in there plus Alaska type thing, and it pulls it up easier. I don't remember. I remember I had a hard time looking for it too, but I found it. I don't remember.
Yeah, it sent me about 6 other Mad Mooses, and that was.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of Mad Mooses out there.
I just put it in the chat. I think that's yours.
Cool. Your camera's working good, Grant. You're styling over there.
Yeah, I know.
So cool.
Hey, Grant,
what do you think, Grant?
About the rotary?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. I haven't been able to use it yet, but it looks really good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you get some use on it. Let me know.
Yeah, he sent me
I'm
back
gonna get
my
it set up.
full roto, and that's the one I'm got you sending me the kit on, and then I'll send you those other ones.
Yeah, I'll get the kit out to you tomorrow.
And then I'll put them side by side and start doing some pictures and stuff too, just to populate our side of it too. I'll give you all that stuff too if you want it. If you want the imagery and stuff I get from it.
Yeah.
I might even break out the light box.
I tried the best I could with what I had to get my pictures. I mean, like the one that's on the screen now, that was just that was a I don't know what you call it. Edited out. The background was edited out and everything.
Yeah.
But
sweet. I can't wait.
I'll say, heck, send me an update or an upgrade kit, and then I'll do some light box photos for you.
there you go. Well, I only got enough for one more right now until next week. I should be getting the final parts, and then I'll be shipping out whoever's got whatever going on here. We got a bunch of rotaries. I'm backlog right now.
Yeah, what's the wait time on that right now?
Well, I mean, right now, just for Thunder, I think there's probably 60 that are waiting to go. And then my problem now is becoming motors, because the motors with the chip shortage and everything, I try to get as many as I can in one shot, and then when I get the next ones, it who knows when that happens.
Are you getting any sources of those from Thunder China, or are you going through a different source?
I get them straight from the actual manufacturer.
Okay,
so
I got you.
I get them straight from Lead Shine themselves.
Okay,
that's who they come from. So I don't have any middleman. I ain't got to worry about any of that.
Yeah, I didn't know if Thunder China could maybe give them a push, because I'm sure they buy, but all of our motors are Lead Shines. So
yeah, but they're not the same motors as what I'm using.
Right, but they have pull. I mean, if we buy 1 million motors a year from them, we might have a little more influence to get you some motors.
That's true. So, but I mean, the guy I'm working with is the brother of the owner of Lead Shine. So
I got you.
I mean,
well, no, you're set.
I get priority over most people that order anything that comes in anyway. So
nice.
Yeah, it depends on if he likes his brother or not, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been working with them for 2 years now, and nice. So we got a good rapport and everything, and I've ordered a lot of motors from them. So,
but I see.
Outside the motors, how are the rest of the components coming in terms of upgrade kits?
Well, the parts I'm waiting on, the tensioner block and pulley system. That's the last piece I'm waiting on. Aside from that, I got everything else. So it's just a matter as soon as those come in, slap them on, and start throwing them out the door.
Cool.
So,
And I
Hey,
think usually the rotaries get there in time because, when people's machines, they're waiting on the machines, they usually get the rotary well before the machine comes in, typically anyway. So that's usually not a problem as being a
yeah,
bottleneck or anything.
Yeah, I think I had my rotary 2 months before my razor came in.
I got someone that just got a hold of me about the upgrade kit, and they got their rotary back in July, and they still haven't gotten their machine yet.
Hmm.
So I mean, they've had theirs for what, 3 months, 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So I try to get them out as soon as I can. That way, you guys have them before the machines get there. Sometimes, like right now, with the backlog and the parts, waiting on the parts, that's kind of gone by the wayside a little bit. But so we try to knock them out in the order that the machines are estimated to be delivered.
Yeah.
So, and if
I'm
that
glad I
changes,
don't
then we
have to
try.
tangle with that. I bet that's fun juggling that.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting.
What I'm hearing, it's only going to get worse because I talked to a couple people. It's in shipping, receiving, like high end stuff, and they said it's only getting worse because China's shutting down more stuff, and we're getting more of a backlog. So it's for us, it's only going to get worse
Well, it doesn't
before it
help.
gets better.
Basically from now, well, basically from late September through March, China goes on so many holidays and breaks this time of year. Like they're on holiday right now.
Yeah,
Um,
back
and
tomorrow.
they were on holiday 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I think. They had two holidays in the past like month and a half, and each of them were like a week long. And then they have the whole month of February they take off, and then they have.
See,
So I mean that.
see, the issue I found with that though is that's the rest of the world. Like we're the odd ones out. We work all the time and don't take all the breaks. Yeah, all over
Well,
Yeah,
the
no,
Europe,
but
they
Europeans
they
take
take time too.
holidays
no,
everywhere.
but no, but they literally, some of them work 24/7 over there. I mean, they sleep in the factories and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, they don't get time off. That's why I think they have so many holidays built in, because everybody gets the same holidays kind of thing. But anyways, we're
hey,
making the best of what we got, and hopefully keep everybody happy.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
The only good
hey,
thing was
John.
lumber prices started going back down before they started going back
Yeah.
up.
What's that?
Lumber prices were falling,
Yeah.
and now they're rebounding. They're back up. I think it was like 20 or 25% they rebounded.
Well,
George, did you have a
Yeah.
question?
No, I just wanted to show John. So where I mounted my camera, I got my door open,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
you
I've
can
seen
see
the
I
picture. I
mounted it
think you're doing that for me.
where that blue bar is.
Okay.
There's the handle to give you an idea, right? And I've got the 51-100. So yeah, it's a bigger machine, but and then I just ran the cable through. They give you these little mounts that are in the
Right.
box, right? And some zip ties, and then you just run them under these little brackets. You can see I can get the wire to go behind it, down the side, and then up under the machine. I mounted it up. I don't know if you can see that. I mounted it
Yeah, I can see it.
underneath. Then there's a little grommet hole. You run it through there, and eventually you can go out the side of the machine. Because basically all you're doing is you're plugging it into an internal box and then jumping it. But I've got a little bit of a weird problem, but I'll get it figured out. But I thought it might be kind of neat just to show you now that I got quasi decent reception.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. But definitely put in a ticket and we'll jump in there and have a look at it and get you figured out. It may be a bad extension cable. Some of those are bad, and you can determine that just by what you said you did is already plugged it directly into the camera. So we can eliminate most of the cabling unless it's the camera cable itself. But yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. So
Yeah, where he's got his placed at, John, I'm like one level up higher than where he's at.
yeah. And
I
as long
mounted
as you,
mine upwards.
yeah,
Yours is more inside on the glass.
No, I'm higher than him.
he's closer to the front toward the handle even
Yeah,
more.
once he
Oh,
goes
okay.
up,
Yeah, Jim's mounting it up here.
Okay.
Is that right, Jim?
Which, yeah, that put it almost dead center in the middle of the bed. The only reason why I did it because it's me being in a wood shop and everything being precise and
Mm-hmm.
just
Okay, now I
being weird.
understand. Yeah, I guess I was thinking something different. So yeah, I got it now. Thanks. For the two of you guys, thank you.
Too many years of construction and just having to be precise of that and between that and woodworking.
It sucks to be a piano man because as my carpenter buddies call me, you're the piano maker. It's never good enough. Sometimes you got to learn to walk away though.
Well, how bad it was the other day as I was sitting here and I noticed I knew I had a slight hump in the middle of my bed from the knives. And so I decided to take everything apart. But then I sit in here with, instead of putting like a level on it, I was putting a digital level on it. And I was
That's
getting
bad.
aggravated because my knives were sitting, what was it, 1,000 thou or something like that. And I was getting very aggravated because I couldn't get them perfectly level. I'm going, I can get my table saw and everything else dead set. Why can't I get these dead set? I finally gave up. I was like, this is retarded.
Yeah, I
You gotta
think our
break down and get
tolerance
that
is half a
spiral
million.
head.
Alrighty. What's up, Glenn?
And then
like
one last thing, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
I sent you a message through Messenger. Did you get it?
No, I can't check that anymore. I haven't been able to check that in a year. It's so backed up with things I can't get to them all, so I don't ever get in there. The best way to get to me, email my person. If if it's not a support ticket, if it is support related, it's best to use support at thunderlaserusa.com. That way the whole team can see it. If it's for me, it's Brian at thunderlaserusa.com. I wouldn't even have Facebook.
I'll send it through the support box, and then I'll put a note in there to forward this over to Brian.
Okay, well, I'll see it if you're going to be in the support ticket system. We can all see the tickets. So,
all right, cool.
I'm gonna pop that open and check anyway.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, man.
I just wanted to tell you thank you again for that help. Much appreciated. Probably saved me a couple hours of fumbling around, 3 or 4 hours, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no worries, man. That's what we're here for. Everything working good for you?
Yeah, everything's great again. I got everything starting to run back up. Geek Squad did a number on me, but I got all my other programs working. Everything's good to go. We're finally starting to get caught up a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that's a headache, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a pain in the butt. But I just wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to make sure I came on here and let everybody know, anybody that watches these videos, guys, Thunder Laser is there for you when you need them, even way after the sales, guys. So I know everybody on here knows that, but the people that need to hear it that are on the fence of whether they want to order one or not.
Well, I appreciate that. We do our best. We try not to piss too many people off. Not at one time, anyway.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
That was the main thing that sold me about this company, was because of watching these videos and seeing what all the rest of the companies did or didn't offer. I think it was the core group in here, listening to everybody, and the information that was shared was what sold me.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about it too. I mean, I just got my 63-100. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trying to figure everything out, it's a little overwhelming, because I've never really messed with that type of software or anything. And I told my old lady, I said, man, as long as I'm spending at least an hour or two a day, because that's about my frustration limit. And then we'll work one step forward each day, and I'm trying to piece everything together, get a few of the upgrades, and kind of get everything lined out. It's definitely a challenge, that's for sure.
I'm amazed at how far Thunder's come in a short amount of time. When I got my first one, Brian wasn't even around. It was Clay, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know how the heck he did it all by himself.
Well, and see, that's the thing, man. People don't understand. He ran Thunder Laser all by himself for 5 years or something, one-man band, and maintained the same level of support and reviews, all by himself. So, I mean, that's
tough bill. That's
yeah.
for sure.
So yeah, he did it all right, and we got more good people in here, and it's going nowhere but up. And I've been real pleased with the corporate climate too. Even on the back end, we're just as honest and transparent and real to each other as we are to everybody else, and it's been a great thing.
Maybe a little bit more.
Maybe a
Yep,
little too real. Ask Grant.
and then there's Grant.
Yeah.
I actually flew down to Texas to take a look at the laser before I bought it.
Oh wow.
And literally the amount of support that you get pre, during, and post, plus these webinars, plus the community.
For sure.
I mean, there's other lasers out there and they're great, but I really think that the community of people, the amount of people who chime in to help, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the back end's what's important. Granted, there was an issue with mine, and the shipping address was all screwed up for some weird reason. Somehow, the company, not Thunder, screwed it up, but the shipping company did. And Grant was able to actually get me in contact with the port and let me talk with those guys, and we got it straightened out that way. But he was on top of it immediately, so I'll give him a heads up, even though I like harassing him.
Yeah, we like to harass. Grant's the default answer, but it's like I told him today, I've got his back. I've always got his back.
Until you
Good
don't.
luck staying like a chicken with its head cut off, man.
But it's like the young. You always got to pick on the youngins.
He's got his back. A couple knives there, but he's got his back.
Nah.
I gotta run, Brian. You guys take it easy.
All right,
See you
man.
next
Take
time.
care. All right, I'll get that stuff to you. Thanks, man.
All right, and I'll send yours out tomorrow too.
Roger that. Cool beans.
All right, later.
Take care. Yeah, I can't wait to get my metal upgrades. Ooh. It's gonna look good.
It does look pretty.
I got all three of them in. So I have the low boy, the junior, and the full, which we were going to stop that, but I think we were a little too late. He had already sent it. So I'm just going to keep them, but they look really dope. I need to get in there and play with it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So what's the advantage of the new metal upgrade?
Nothing's 3D printed, so no warpage, no stuff being out of tolerance typically. I mean, just it'll last better. If you drop it, you don't have to maybe worry about breaking it so much. Just all that.
And got bigger issues.
Yeah.
And it's prettier.
And that's the he's been evolving to that level anyway. Wanted to do that for a while, but that seems to be all metal's the way to go. Just so you know, peace of mind, really, I guess. Some people talk about those mounts, and I guess I could mention that already. We're working, or Chris has developed a mount that we're gonna test a little bit. I guess I can say that, can I, Grant? It's not like some secret or something. And we're gonna send them out to a few people and let them
Can't
try
say the
them.
word secret around here.
Yeah, don't say the word secret, or we won't be
Yeah,
able to.
we know about your secrets. That was 2 episodes ago, I think.
Yep.
I knew that was gonna.
I think that was 3.
Yeah, we had a pump for that one.
Yeah, but like the Lightburn mounts, they're not the greatest, but once you put the wire ties around there, or, to keep it from shifting in there, mine's almost warped on the edges, and I haven't had to realign it in about a year and a half probably. So, but and the one we're making is going to be 3D printed also. It's just a hulky monster of a thing. So, and it's made to only go one way. So it's made that you can't assemble it backwards or install it backwards or upside down or anything. So we'll see how that goes. Not that
Brian,
we need that.
Talk about that later then. Maybe I can produce those for you. I'm looking at a 3D sinter printer right now. You know what those are?
Is a 3D sinter printer?
Yep. So it works off of sintering. It doesn't use filament.
Okay.
So it uses high power lasers and a bed of powder. And so it burns the bed of powder, and then it recoats it up to whatever thickness you tell it, and then it burns another layer, and it just keeps building it up on top of it. But it's the way that
brand are you looking at?
I don't remember the brand. It's one that's sitting at one of our local print supply stores. They brought it in as a demo unit that he's looking at offloading for about $30,000. So and it operates off of gypsum is what it uses, but it's also able to color the gypsum as it's printing it as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, we use a lot of them in our aircraft manufacturing for aviation parts. It's titanium powder and things like that, where it's actually like laser welding it. So it's
Wow.
it's additive manufacturing, but man, it cuts out on so much waste. But then it creates a new problem of getting pure, like the right quality of the supply of the powder, whether it's titanium or Inconel or whatever the particular alloy is. It just creates a different supply chain issue.
Yep. Yeah, and this one runs a gypsum powder, and then when it comes out, it's kind of delicate, and you have to soak it in a special solution, basically like super glue type stuff that soaks into it, and then that gives you your final hard product.
Do you have any resin 3D printers, Travis?
I don't. I've got 4 FDM printers, but no resin ones yet.
I got a few FDM ones. I've looked into resin just because some of the finite details, and I think it just looks cool. Where you like pull the thing out of the vat of ooze, and your part just comes out of it.
Yeah, I've been looking at one. I've been thinking about selling one of my 3D printers. I never use either one of them, and seeing about getting a resin one that I'll probably never use either. But it looks neat.
It looks good in the backdrop of the Support Innovation Lab. They
Yeah,
not
right.
have a bunch of.
Yeah, none of that crap works back there. It's just the shells. So
If we don't have the part, we can make it.
exactly. So awesome.
Actually, I use my FDM printers quite a bit with the lasers because I use that to build custom supports for weird objects in there. I know a lot of people use like Legos and stuff like that. I just grab something, measure it out, and just throw it to this 3D printer and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Which FDM printers you running?
Mainly